Welcome back. So, we are still working on the MicroVI text editor. Last time, we got the document loading on the screen, it's positioned correctly, and yeah, we're going to stick with, I'm not going to try using the built-in tile display scrolling because it's going to get weird with the way document editing works. So we're going to be scrolling this document manually. That's what we're going to be working on today. It's getting that set up. So the way we're going to do this, if we go over to the Miniscript wiki, you can see that there are some axes on the key object. And we're going to look at horizontal and vertical axes to scoot this thing around. And the horizontal and vertical axes, it's a concept I've seen in Unity, but it will give each of these axes a value of -1 to 1 based off of reading either WASD, arrow keys, or joystick or gamepad. We're going to do that, and I'm going to see if maybe we can get it scrolling with the mouse also, but that will be extra credit. Let's see if we can get the axes working first. So, back in our source code, I actually want to get this escape key wired up. Let me see. I need an example to work from. Which one is a good example for this? Actually, the best example is probably the Microcraft game because it is the most recent. Just a second here. Oh, it's on my other monitor. Okay. If we go down to tile test, there's a bunch of on-key statements. No, it's in the main program. On key down. The events library has an exit flag. Oh, I just don't remember what it is. So let's look it up. I think it's just called done. Is it called done? Let's find out. Done. Nope, it's not done. Stop. There's an event loop stop function. There. So that should allow us to exit without breaking the program. And then how do we get that access value? Key.access, feed in the access name. So currently, let's say that the top row is 0. No. Let's see. I'm thinking about the way to represent this. let's say that we have a document object. The document would have a cursor. Tells us where we're displaying. We begin displaying from document cursor row and document cursor column. I think we're going to need to extract this into another function. I'm trying to decide if I want that function to be a function off of document or just to be its own thing. I think I want it to be its own thing, but I keep going back and forth. So that's all the code to render a document to the screen based off of some details about that document. Let's go ahead and pass in a document object instead of using that global value. Because there's some chance that in the distant future we'll want to be able to track more than one open document. Store the lines in there too. Okay. Then we're going to throw the document into the render document function to display it. And then we need a way to trigger the re-render. Is dirty is true. If the document is dirty, you need to re-render it. So let's put that here. Let's do this. Now theoretically, that should give us a document object and allow us to load it to the screen, or it might just blow up in our face. Let's find out. Line 80. Huh. Oh, let's put the comma there. Line 83. Get a colon. Path is unknown on line 78. Really? Oh, Doc lines is unknown. That makes sense. Okay, look at the length on line 16. That's kind of weird. Lines is null. Yep, all that stuff got cleared out when I created a new document. Alright, so back where we started, but now we have a document object. And that will matter because of this. Let's print out the axes as we are using them. So we hit the right key, it goes to 1, up becomes +1 also. And we need to make sure to floor the values. It's weird that it scales from 0 to 1 when a key goes down. It's kind of interesting. Okay, anyway. Doc.cursor.row. We're going to subtract the floor of the vertical value because we want to invert that axis. Mark it dirty, means we need to re-render. And the x-axis is fine, we just need to add it. It's already oriented the way we want. And then if the document is dirty, we could re-render it and then say it's no longer dirty. And we are rendering from the cursor row and column, so this might just work. Hold on, just checking my work here. I think we need to check our bounds. Column's going to be trickier. We can do the left side easily enough. But what about the column? How far should we allow that to go? I'm going to leave that in question for now because I'm not really sure. check the column like this. I know how to do it. Line, stalked, cursor, dot row. I check it against the length of the current line that the cursor is on. This line's getting pretty long. Getting a little dizzy just looking at it. But it should move us. It should constrain us to not, so that we can't move the cursor past the final character of whatever row we're on. And we actually need to do the same check if we change rows. So I'm going to move it down here. If the document is dirty, we'll check the balance of the cursor in both orientations for the rows and columns, and then we will render it. I think that'll work. Let's find out. Debug. Don't need this debug text. Go away, debug text. And look at that. Whoa, that was too fast. Left and right works great. Going down, there's something weird going on. Look at that, the left and right actually scrolls really well. Alright, why is the vertical scrolling not doing what we want? Oh, when I move down a row, it's setting the column to -1. That's wacky. What is it doing a thing like that for? Oh, it's this check here. Every other line in the document is empty. So, if so, we only do the column check if the current line has something in it. Otherwise, we set the column to 0, and we probably need a similar check for rows. Do we? I think we do. Probably a better way to write that. And now we can scroll up and down. Scrolling left and right. Though going down just one line at a time is surprisingly difficult. It wants to... Oh, it's just, it's hard to get the key just right to only scroll a little bit. It wants to scroll by 2 at a time. Alright. Alright, so how can we solve that? The keyboard is too responsive. I want to use the horizontal and vertical axes. I think. Maybe I shouldn't. It's a text editor. Overwriting the meaning of the WASD keys might actually backfire. You know, let's disable that. Let's see, code key get up is 19. Horizontal equals -1. FCH equal, no, that should be vertical. Vertical equals +1. 17, then horizontal equals -1. And then this can be actually be a plus now. Let's see what that feels like. And now when I scroll down, when I first pause the key, it pauses for a second before continuing, which is good. What is bad is that the right arrow and left arrow keys do nothing. That'll help. Alright, now we are able to scroll in every direction, so that's cool. Moving up and down is resetting the column to 0. Don't really think there's anything we can do about that because we want it to be related to a text cursor. So whenever we hit those blank rows, the column has to get reset to 0. So I think I am going to just leave that part. Okay. Next up, don't need all this test code. And does that actually help us? If roll is less than 0, then break. Yeah, I'm going to leave that in place. So that's good. What I would like to do is render some sort of status bar at the bottom. Render document, render status bar. Do we have string util? So that should, the row and column should look up the row and column fields on the cursor. So down here where we render the document, which also render the status bar. I don't like that it's scrolling though. Is there a way to turn off scrolling? I do not remember. I mean, there's ways to get around it. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way to do this. You know what? No, I really like this to work. I really wanted to print down here and leave it there and not scroll the display. Here's what we're going to do. X is column. Well, let's just do X. Y is 0, and then we need the code of that character. X plus equals 1. I think that's how you do that. I'd like to clear the rest of that row. I'd love to be able to set the background. Let's see, how far does X go again? Need that bit. Well, X is less than the extent, 0. You also have to increment the X value at the end of your while loop if you ever want your while loop to end. There. Now we have a simple little status bar, and we can scroll around the whole document. There's things I would still like to be able to do. Well, yeah, I want to be able to edit the document for one thing. I need some way to display inverted text because it'll make the status bar a little easier to differentiate from the rest of the document. And we're going to have to differentiate between the scroll position and the cursor position. So that'll be a little bit interesting. But we are going to pause right here. We did get our camera moving, so we can look at the entire document. That's pretty exciting. And we can scroll around, and we have our status bar. And we're going to leave it at that for today. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.